Okay guys, today is a little bit different. We're gonna go over all of the Shining 3D scanners on the market today in July 2025. So this is the whole lineup, the State of the Union, the unfiltered, unscripted assessment by yours truly, Rob. So we've been using all these scanners for the last 7 years or so, not all of these, some of these are much newer than that, and they continually improve and come out with new models, but each new model has a different feature, and maybe it has some features and not others, and there's no one like best scanner, or is there, if you have the budget? Let's talk about real quick the 3 different types of technology. You've got laser scanning, infrared scanning, and then color scanning. And the difference is, really, the blue lasers will pick up dark and reflective objects that are so shiny and reflective that just regular structured light or infrared would scatter and not bring back good data. But the intensity of the lasers helps it pick up those really difficult things. So engine bays or machinery or anything with dark and reflective stuff on it, metallic objects, etc., you want blue lasers. Now, infrared also does pick up black most of the time. It is lower accuracy, but it scans very fast, and you don't have to put markers down in order to scan things. And then of course there's color mode, which can be used for tracking. So if you have a very highly textured object, you can track with the color, and you can also get full color files out of it. So if you want to scan a person and then maybe print them out in MJF or something like that, or some full color 3D printing technology, then you can do that very, very easily. Or if you want to create augmented reality or virtual reality objects for video games, you can scan the whole thing with full color and already have your texture map set out. So those are the 3 sort of main types of tech that we're working with as we dive into all these scanners. In front of me, you can see lined up, we have sort of from the most expensive moving down to the most affordable scanners from Shining 3D. And there's a couple that aren't on here, but it starts over at the FreeScan line. Their FreeScan line is the metrology grade, inspection grade, highly certified, highly calibrated, very accurate 20 micron accuracy scanners. And then you've got the Einscan line. Now these are professional, more in the prosumer / professional category. They're very accurate, up to 40 micron, and they have a bunch of different features. They're very fast, very robust, but still kind of expensive, out of reach for some people. Definitely not in the hobbyist category. Items you don't see here are the Einstar line. Now those are their hobbyist scanners. We don't really do too much with those here. We really focus on professional and business applications, but we do sell them on our website. So if you like our content and you like our stuff and you want to give back, we have all of these at visionminer.com/scanners. And of course, we use them every day, and we have a ton of videos diving into each one. So if you haven't already seen those and one of these piques your interest, we've got 5 or 6 or 10 other videos going in on specifically that unit so that you can be fully informed before making your purchase at visionminer.com. Let's start at the top. We'll go from most expensive down to most affordable and just go through what each one's really for, its strengths, its weaknesses, and why you might want to buy that one versus the others. So let's start with the FreeScan Trio. This unit has actually been quite interesting here at VisionMiner. When it first came out about 2 years ago, we were like, this is incredible. It's got the accuracy of the 20 microns. It's got 98 laser lines, and that enables marker-free laser scanning. So normally you'd have to put markers down all over your part or around the part for the scanner to track those markers and use the lasers. But this one has the feature of if your object it's not just a flat plate, then it will track based on the curvature of the laser lines because it has so many lasers. That's one big feature of this. It also has, of course, the standard crosshatch laser lines, the 7 parallel lines for high detail, and the single laser line for getting deep pocket scans. But it's also over 30 grand. So who really needs this? What are its standout features? Because it doesn't have IR, it doesn't do color. This scanner, the FreeScan Trio, is really for massive objects. If you are scanning an entire airplane wing or an entire boat hull or a massive piece of machinery and you need to do it in one go, as quickly as possible and fully accurate, then this is the unit you're going to want. Now, the thing that makes it different from all these other scanners is really just a feature called scale bars. In the hard case that this comes packed in, Pelican style hard case with rollers and everything, it'll fit in an overhead bin. on an airplane, it has these scale bars that you will place on your very large object every few meters or so. And what these do is when the scanner sees them, it knows exactly the size of those scale bars. So with the other scanners, if you start at the wingtip and you go all the way to the body of the airplane, by the time you get over there, the volumetric accuracy is plus or minus X millimeters over per meter. With this unit, you place the scale bars throughout the scan, and you can scan the whole thing knowing it's perfectly accurate. You can't do that with the other ones. You'd have to scan a section and then scan the next section and then align those two sections within the software. So if you're doing massive objects where you need a lot of accuracy, that is where this unit comes in. It also has video photogrammetry, which also increases that. A lot of you know how accurate photogrammetry can be. The challenge generally being scaling it, and this solves a lot of that. So if you're doing massive, massive parts and want laser scanning abilities, then this might be the unit for you. Moving down in price range, we move on to the Einscan Libre. Now this thing just came out maybe 6 months to a year ago. This thing is packed with features. This is literally like the unit. It's endearingly called the iPhone 27 here at the office because it can call any number in the galaxy. Hello. Really, it's just an absolute beast of a machine. Let's go through the features. They packed everything into this. It's wireless. It's got a hot swappable battery right in here. So no tethering. You don't have to connect to a computer. You can just throw this in a bag and go scan anything you wanted. It's also got a computer on the unit, so you can do all the post-processing and meshing everything and creating your final files on the unit. So it's a standalone. You can also plug it into your computer and use all those features of the full desktop software as well. On top of that, it's got the blue lasers. It's also got infrared, which gives you amazing marker-free tracking, so you can scan anything without markers, and it just works really well. A very large field of view, so you can scan a lot at once. We'll get to why that's important on some of these lower-end units. And it's also got full color, very high-quality color, the only one that really matches up to the Einscan H2. Every feature you could want, aside from metrology-grade accuracy for inspection and things like that, packed into one fat unit that's actually surprisingly lightweight for about 29 grand. Okay, so over 30, 29, every feature packed into it. Moving down to the FreeScan Combo and Combo Plus. This is the Combo Plus. The only difference really between the Combo and Combo Plus is the laser lines. I believe the Combo has 28 laser lines. This has 52 cross laser lines, I believe. And it also has infrared. Now, this unit right here, the FreeScan Combo and Combo Plus, is by far the favorite unit here at VisionMiner. It's the one that gets used the most. It's great to use. It's very fast. You'll notice it's also smaller than any of the other scanners. For a handheld scanner, it's literally the smallest form factor. Now that comes into play for actually more than you would expect. One, just holding it is nice. It's cold aluminum. So it's got a heft to it. It feels very robust and strong. It looks sweet, but it's very small and compact, which means you can fit it into places you can't fit any of these other scanners. Now, when would you have to do that? Well, one example is we had a customer scanning the inside of overhead bins in airliners. They would take it, and previously they were using cardboard cutouts and all sorts of stuff to get the size of the inside to create vinyl that would go on the inside, whether that had ads or just cool textures, or they're refurbishing planes and stuff like that. And so they ended up picking one of these up, and we went through. We tried to get them the HX, but it just could not fit. They literally came here with an overhead bin, and we tested all this. And this one, because the wires came out the back, it's a much larger form factor than this, where the wires come straight out the bottom. So this went straight in and even faced backwards at us, so you can literally stick this into an object and scan inside the object with ease. And that worked out great. So the small size is a big deal. As far as scanning technology goes, it has the 50 laser lines in the Combo Plus, or the 26 on the Combo. And that also includes the 7 parallel lines for getting extremely high detail. We have a video on this, getting down to 0.01 millimeter detail, like insane detail. And of course you have this single line, which is great for deep pockets and things that the other units just can't get. So it's very useful in that respect. And it also has the top of the line infrared scanning, which is the markerless scanning. With the lasers, you do need to use markers. In infrared, no markers whatsoever, really fast. You can just whip this thing out, scan anything you want, and because it is tethered to the computer, it's hyper fast. It works really well, and just like this is the go-to. We mostly do engineering type projects here, so we're not usually looking for full color, things like that, but the accuracy and speed at which this thing scanned is just awesome. So we really like it. We use this thing probably more than anything else here at the office. And this unit is, I believe, just a hair under $19,000. So it's definitely in the professional market. It is in the Freescan line, metrology grade, so if you need to inspect things off your production line, or you need to validate parts, accuracy and whatnot, like we'll use this in our 3D printing service to validate parts that come off to check accuracy. And then it's really easy to make a little heat map PDF presentation showing that, hey, these tolerances are all within spec. We do sell all the software and everything to go along with scanners too. You can get a lot more information on that at visionminer.com/software, reverse engineering and CAD software, full suites, whatever you need. This unit, definitely a showstopper. I love the Freescan combo. Next, we've got the HX2. It's Einscan line, and it's the King Ding-a-ling blue laser scanner. And it also has blue LED light for scanning without markers, which works really good. We scanned a transit van with this, actually, and it just knocked it out of the park with no markers around the whole van. It was pretty cool. And this has been the long-standing king of 3D scanners with blue lasers, really. The original HX came out probably 5, 6, 7 years ago. It is the blue laser, the blue light, and it's also got color. Now, I will say, I am very disappointed in the color. I would not buy this if I wanted color because its little brother, the H2, which is just an infrared scanner, has 10 times better color. So if color is your thing, do not get the HX2 for the color. It will do color, which is very useful in some situations, like seeing wear marks on the object that you scanned or something like that. So it could be useful data to have, but this would not be what I choose to scan a person in full color with, if you get what I'm saying. So very good scanner, long pedigree, works great, and just an overall awesome unit. Now this thing costs about $10,000. And it's been that for many years now, and it still is, compared to everything else on the market that does the exact same thing, it's significantly more affordable. So very good unit. The HX2, if that's within your budget, 10 grand, that's a good one to go with. Moving right down the list to the Einscan H2. Now this is $5,300, and it is an infrared scanner with white light scanning also. So pretty much you can use markers with scanning this, but you don't need them really in any of the modes. Markers do always increase accuracy and make tracking better, but this unit is designed to not need it. Now it was originally designed with really having people and organic objects in mind. By organic, I mean things that move slightly. So if you're scanning a person and they breathe, maybe they have a hiccup or a sneeze, or anything moves around, the algorithms in the software of the H2 are designed to not double up data. I remember one time back in the day, I was scanning someone's face. It might have even been my own face, but I was scanning someone with the HX just to see how it did, and the micro movements, they had like 3 different layers of cheek. Right? So it just scans what is there. Whereas this unit, it notices that, it picks up the geometry, it knows you're in portrait mode scanning a person, and so it negates that data. So when you scan someone's face and they move or breathe or slightly change their facial expression, it doesn't double, triple up data. So this is really, really good for scanning people, objects, organic shapes, things that might move slightly, things like that, and full color. That's really the standout of this one. This thing does color really well. So you can see a video we did back in the day scanning my jiu-jitsu instructor with this scanner. And the end results, you can actually see beads of sweat on his forehead in the final scan. Like, it's very cool, very detailed. The stitching in his gi, like, it came out really, really good. If you got an H2 and went to sporting events, particularly like high schools and stuff like that, you could scan people outside in 2 to 3 minutes, scan the whole person, get their information, they'll pay for something, and then you send them a 3D printed model of themselves, right? This would be especially great for entire football teams or basketball teams or any kind of sports teams or just people in general. This is a business in a box. All of these are, but this one's like really easy to see how quickly you could start making money with any of these scanners. H2, $5,300, and very, very good color and very good for scanning people, biological stuff, or large objects, full cars, stuff like that. It's great tracking, very good scanner, very good price. And as we go on, once we get to this thing, the Rigil, this is cheaper than all of these, but that is for a reason, because it has almost the same features, but these are superior, mainly in field of view. Field of view is when I'm scanning something, how big is the area that's being scanned and gathering data? On these units, it's anywhere from this big to this big, whereas on these other units, it's much smaller. So you get the same features, but you do not get the same workflow. So let's move right along to now the Einscan Rigil, or Rigil. I'm still confused on that. We've had this unit for several weeks now, and it has been incredibly impressive. This unit packs in, well, let's just go through the list. It's wireless. It's got these batteries right here in the bottom, and they are not proprietary batteries. They are 21700s, so you can buy a bunch of those on Amazon and have unlimited battery swaps. It is an all-in-one unit, so it has a computer and a screen back here, so you can scan and let's just talk about practicality. On these two units, the Libre and the Rigil, you're scanning and looking at what you're scanning while looking at the scan data that you're scanning. Versus tethered to a computer, you're scanning something and looking over here and seeing where you're scanning and looking back. So having a screen is a pretty big deal. It's got a computer inside, so you can do the workflow, you can edit your data, you can review your data, you can scan everything on the road without even having a laptop nearby. It also has lasers, blue lasers, 38 laser lines, crosshatch pattern. It's also got the 7 parallel lines for laser. It does not have the single line for deep pockets and holes and stuff like that, which comes in very useful, like the FreeScan Combo or the Trio. It seems to be a FreeScan feature. And it's also got infrared, which makes tracking with no markers very, very easy, or scanning people, things like that. And it's also got very, very good color, very highly detailed color. This unit, all in one, is only $5,000. So it's cheaper than all of the other scanners that we just mentioned. It's a little bit bigger than the FreeScan Combo, but again, it's wireless. This handle is really well done. It's comfortable to hold, and the batteries go right in there. And you get almost the same features, similar accuracy specs. So why does this one have everything and it's so much cheaper? It's that field of view that we mentioned earlier. So when you're scanning something with this, it's seeing a much smaller portion of the object you're scanning. Now, this is important because depending what you're scanning, being able to see a larger field of view will give you more geometry to track on, right? It'll gather a lot more data at once, so your entire scan will go faster. It's a little bit more accurate because you're seeing more data in relation to the other data. And apparently, in final testing, subscribe, we are doing more videos directly doing this unit head-to-head with like the HX2. Apparently, they tell us that these units will still get higher detail and a little bit more refined data. All these awesome features into a box at a ridiculously great price. Frankly, I think this is going to be the one for a lot of people. A lot of people are on the fence about spending $10,000 or more for something like the HX or the Combo. And then for the people that were going to spend $1,000 to $2,000 for the Einstar or the Vega, are going to upgrade to this because it's so much more packed with features. Like for the extra price, what you get is 10x over those other two units, which are really just hobby grade units. They do great scans, don't get me wrong. There's some videos out there, guys, using that to do incredible projects. But it does take time to scan and processing time on the computer, and the data just isn't as good. So like the Einstar, right? It's $1,000. It's not shown here. I tried to scan a surfboard with it that had markers all over it, and I must have scanned that. I was here until 10 p.m. one night, just trying to get multiple scans to align, and it just was not doing it. Now, why was I scanning it? If I had a real project in mind, it's good for a lot of things. But when I hit it with the HX2, I was done in 10 minutes flat. Done. Exported data, everything aligned, perfect, wonderful. So between the Einstar, the $1,000 one, and the $10,000 HX or HX2, it's a massive difference. Now this is somewhere right there in the middle, and so far everything we've done with it has been a great time. I will say that the front of this looks almost exactly the same as the Einstar and the Vega. So I really feel like they borrowed most of that technology from those lines and then kind of crammed in some of the stuff from these lines and then made it wireless and threw the same computer on the back and made this thing. And it's to compete with stuff like the Raptor X from Creality, which is very similar, blue laser scanner, etc. But I might be able to get Cole's opinion on this because Cole actually bought a Raptor for his house and he's been using that. And when we got this the other week, well, he came in the other day and he was like, yeah, I started using my Raptor again, and I threw it down in frustration.
It's a very good scanner.
You heard it from the man himself. That's the Einscan Rigil. Blue lasers, infrared, color, wireless, all in one unit. Awesome. Oh, plus, I forgot, you can actually live tether it. So if you want this connected to the computer for extra processing power, this also has the markerless laser scanning. Freaking awesome. That's a feature that you don't get until you get up to the Libre, and this little $5,000 unit has that. Now, the reason you have to tether it with the computer when you're doing the markerless laser scanning is because this unit, instead of using 100 or 98 laser lines to track the curvature of the laser lines, it's actually using the infrared projectors to track and the lasers to scan. So it's a different way of doing markerless laser scanning that I think is really awesome. You just do have to have it plugged into the computer for that process to work. And then other things, you can't align multiple scans right now on the unit itself, but they did say that they are implementing that feature and it will come with a future software update. That is something we love about Shining 3D is they are constantly updating their software every 2 to 3, 4 months or so. We'll get a new update with some new features. Oh yeah, I forgot. The Libre and this unit both have the rewind feature, which is huge, especially when scanning people. Because when you're scanning and you notice it doubles up data or it lost tracking and thought it was somewhere else, you can just be like, oh, I see it messed up, hit the rewind button, scroll back to exactly where you want to re-pick up the scan, and good to go. Einscan Rigil, very good. We're moving right down here. We kind of skipped this guy because this guy price range actually falls somewhere right in between these two guys, so between 4 and 10K. And we've got the little SP over here too. So let's talk about the Pro HD first. You'll notice both of these scanners have turntables with coded markers. That's these funny little shapes that are unique. And the scanner's programmed to know exactly where each one of these are. And they use a different type of technology. They're actually projecting structured light. By that I mean, just like any projector, you're projecting, say, a white screen. Now put a bunch of cross hatches and dots and different things on that white screen, sort of like static looking, in a very specific pattern, and then it knows, based on the curvature of that pattern, what the 3D object looks like and what the dimensionality is. So when you have the turntable and the scanner set up, then it's going to do a one shot, and then it's going to rotate the part and do another shot, single shot, right? And then rotate that up to 180 degrees, or 180 times. So it does 2-degree rotations, and that is a lot of data. Usually most parts you can do 6 to 8 rotations, and you're totally good to go on data. And then it also does handheld, although I will say the handheld is nowhere near as good as these units that are dedicated handheld. So I never really used that much, but there's a couple advantages to the Pro HD and the SP. But before I get into those, you'll notice this little bobble here, right? This is the color pack. So this will also do color. But I will say once again, this is an older line, came out maybe 8 or 9 years ago to start. This particular unit has been out maybe 2 to 3, maybe 4 years, and it's been a workhorse for us. The main advantage of these now, with all the lasers and the infrared technology that we've got, the structured light still holds strongest in fine textures. So if you want to scan something made from leather and you want to get all the little creases and crevices and the pattern within that leather piece, or maybe you want to do vintage coins or something like that, then these units are still the masters of that. They still get slightly better texture. And it's partly due to the projected structured light, and it's partly due to the single shot on the turntables. It's a perfectly still angle of that object, and so they still sort of have that. The other advantage is workflow. A good example would be toys. Toys or like little plush toys or something like that. And there's a whole collection, and they're all different, but they're all about that big, right? And you want an efficient scanning process, then a turntable unit is a very good idea, because you can just set the object on it, hit go, and then go make some coffee and come back in 5-10 minutes, and it'll be totally done. So workflow and super fine detail, like texture detail. The world of scanning, it means a lot of different things, right? Detail and texture. Texture often means color. It's color texture, but here I'm actually talking about the physical texture of like the fabric or something. It's a very, very, very fine texture. When it comes to detail, something like the FreeScan Combo is going to get more little nitty-gritty details, more little geometrical things. But when it comes to detail of texture on the surface, that's where the structured light really shines. The Pro HD is now $7,700, and I believe they're including the industrial pack, which is the tripod and the turntable, as well as a color pack. And it used to be all extra and all that. Now it's just all included because it is a bit older unit, but still very, very robust. Now the SP is the little brother, and it does basically the same thing, but there's a couple unique aspects to it in that it's not all in one, but it comes with this sort of thing. So you have an exact distance between the turntable and the scanner, whereas on the Pro HD, you just set it up and find the field of view and then get it at the right angle and set it. Versus these units were designed for education and classroom and stuff like that, so it's just easier and sort of more simple and basic, right? This does also have the ability to come off of here, and you can put this on a tripod. You actually just unscrew this little mount bracket, and you can put that on a tripod, and you can do single shot scans. So you can just set it up and boom, get that object from an angle, move the tripod, get around, boom, get that object from an angle. Field of view is smaller compared to the Pro HD, but there's another interesting tidbit. The projected light, the structured light, is just a light shining through a little LCD screen. And that physical screen is slightly smaller than the Pro HD. So sometimes, in certain cases, this little guy will get a little bit better texture detail and resolution. And this little unit is $2,100. It's definitely not a Pro HD. One of the big things I see on this is having the angle. I like to have a little bit higher angle a lot of the time, and so it's just a little bit more limited. But again, this is designed for like classrooms and workshops and things like that. So it also does color. So you can maybe you're doing vintage stamps or something like that. Now, yes, you can take something like the HX and you can set up a $40 motorized turntable off Amazon and throw some markers on it and put this into a little tripod mount and just have the object spinning and just let it go for 10 minutes or whatever. And that has really good results, actually, instead of doing the exact angle movements and whatnot. So you can make your own turntable setup for a similar workflow, but it's not quite the same. And again, the advantages when it comes down to the texture and the detail on these units is pretty significant just because it's the structured projected light. Moving on to the Einstar and Vega real quick. The Einstar, it's a great unit. It's $1,000, often on sale for less than that or around $800. And so if you just want a 3D scanner that's better than an iPhone scanner, and this is something we did too. We've tested these. We got this is a 15, I want to say, and it's got the LiDAR scanner in it. And so you can download the app Polycam and you can 3D scan stuff right there. Really good for architecture or interior spaces, not so great for objects. Download it for yourself and test it out and you'll see you can scan stuff, but it's really not that great yet. The Einstar really fits into I want to get into scanning, I want a scanner to scan stuff and experience this technology and maybe do some projects and have it on hand in case I really, really need to scan something. Time's not a huge issue. This isn't something I do every day. It's not part of my business model, but I might need it. It might be a handy tool to have in the toolbox. Cool, great. Grab an Einstar, go to visionminer.com/scanners, and you'll see all of the scanners there, and you can purchase one. We generally do keep them in stock. Now the Vega, the Einstar Vega, is basically the same thing, but it's got a screen. So you don't have to plug it into a computer, and I believe that's around $2,000. So Worth it, I'd say, for a little bit bigger than your smartphone size device that you could just take anywhere and scan anything. Again, no blue lasers, the infrared. The infrared works great, the color works great. The field of view is smaller. It's not as fast. It does take longer to process. You get what you pay for. The bigger the budget, the better the features. That's sort of the way it works here, as anywhere. The Einstar, $1,000. The Vega, $2,000. The Einscan SP, the beginning of the professional range, $2,100. And then you've got the Rigel, or the Rigel, or the Wriggle, or whatever it's called, $5,000 with a whole ton of features. I mean, this is clearly like the most bang for your buck scanner on the market. Definitely in our store. It's pretty darn good. All in one, wireless, blue laser, infrared color, you name it. Markerless laser scanning. What? And then of course you've got the H2, which does excellent color scanning, very good infrared tracking, big field of view, great for scanning patients, very good medical scanner, limbs, prosthetics, and stuff like that. Really good for that. And then of course you've got the HX2, which is the baseline for blue laser scanning, and it does a overall great job. Really big field of view, you scan a lot of stuff, it works very fast and at an affordable price for the blue lasers in the professional grade at $10K. And then of course the FreeScan Combo and Combo Plus. I believe the Combo is only like $16.5 and this one's $18.5 or $18.9, but really good. The accuracy is incredible, the speed is insane, features are awesome. It's got the blue lasers, 50 lines, 7 lines, and single line, as well as the infrared, which just tracks amazingly well. Bunch of videos on that. Definitely go. We scan a Tesla, we scan a Cybertruck, we scan injection molds, all kinds of different objects. You can really see this thing in action. And then, of course, the Einscan Libre, which is like the I've got a budget and I want everything. This is your unit. Einscan software, very easy to learn. Anybody can learn it in 15 minutes and start scanning. So if you have a team of guys going out into the field for repairs, one of our clients, they actually go out into the field, farm fields, and scan machinery and things like that. So to have the lasers and the infrared and the color and the wireless and the all-in-one unit, excellent choice. And then of course, the FreeScan Trio, if you're scanning massive objects and need very high volumetric accuracy, meaning the whole thing in one scan. That's really who this one's for. If you don't need to do that, you don't need to look at this machine. Now, one of the big things too, I gotta mention, if you're new to the channel, we do all kinds of scanning stuff with this, and we're also doing projects. So one of our clients recently scanned a, what was the plane, Cole? It was a Lockheed Martin Constellation, right? Yeah. And it was the exhaust off the engine, and he scanned it with this. We're gonna have a video on that soon, scanning other stuff. We're really starting the projects. So we're scanning things, reverse engineering it to make it better for 3D printing, and then printing it on our 22 IDEX, which is a high temperature functional materials 3D printer for stuff like Ultim 9085. Peak, Ultim 1010, PPSU, really chemically resistant, heat resistant, rigid, strong materials. That's our main specialty, and you can see the machine right back there. We do a ton of 3D printing. So you get to see these units in actual real life use cases. Just subscribe, and we'll be doing, as we do, many more of those. There's probably some stuff I left out, and you probably have questions. So scroll on down to the comment box and just let me know what you want to know about any of these scanners. I'll even do a whole nother video if you want. But in general, yeah, fantastic lineup of scanners. Yes?
If you think Cole should have a free Rigel, say, give Cole a Rigel.
You know where the comment box is. So subscribe for more. Like it if you liked it. It helps us in the algorithm, and this is how we feed our families, is selling this equipment and making cool content to really inform you so that you can find out everything you need to know about any of these scanners, the printers, the materials, whatever. Anything we sell at visionminer.com, you should be absolutely certain and sure about what you're buying before you buy it. So that's why we also have a phone number and an email, 833-774-6863, or contact@visionminer.com. Hit us up. Give us a call, shoot us an email. We're here to help you with your project and consult you on getting the right equipment for that. But other than that, thanks so much for watching. Have a positive rest of your day, and I'll see you on the next video.